In life, we are often confronted with moments when we encounter words of insult, contemptuous actions, and disrespect from others. These moments are not merely tests of our patience, they stir up the hidden, often unchecked negative emotions inside us. How do we remain calm, avoid reacting impulsively, and maintain control over our minds in such situations? Stoic philosophy, particularly through the profound thoughts of Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest philosophers and emperors of Rome, offers invaluable lessons on how to respond to insults with grace and wisdom. Stoicism is not just a philosophy of passive thought or abstract principles. It is a practical guide to daily living. The Stoics teach us how to control our emotions, preserve our dignity, and find inner peace in the face of external chaos. Through Marcus Aurelius's meditations and insights, we are shown that we can face the most difficult moments in life with wisdom and composure. In this guide, we will delve into the deep principles of Stoicism, especially the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, and learn how to respond to insults with calmness, wisdom, and nobility. But before we explore these Stoic principles, I have a challenge for you. If you are truly serious about developing emotional resilience, maintaining inner peace, and responding wisely in all situations, I challenge you to stay with me until the end. Leave a comment and share your thoughts. Accept the challenge to practice perseverance, and let's begin the journey of cultivating calm in the face of life's storms. 1. Maintain happiness and confidence in the face of insults. The first and most critical Stoic lesson when faced with insults is to preserve your inner happiness and confidence. This is central to Stoic practice because true happiness does not lie in external circumstances or the opinions of others. Rather, it is a product of how we choose to think and respond to the world around us. Marcus Aurelius himself reminds us in his meditations that the happiness of your life depends entirely upon the quality of your thoughts. In one passage, he writes, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Therefore guard accordingly, and take care that you entertain no notions unsuitable to virtue and reason." This wisdom teaches us that how we interpret the words and actions of others determines whether or not we allow ourselves to be upset by them. An insult in itself is just a series of words or actions. It is only when we choose to internalize those words that they begin to affect our emotional state. When we take responsibility for our own thoughts and responses, we can begin to understand that insults are merely external stimuli. Our response to them is what gives them power. As Aurelius teaches, no one can truly insult us unless we allow their words or actions to harm our peace of mind. The person who insults us might have bad intentions or be simply venting their frustrations, but that does not have to dictate how we feel about ourselves. In moments of insult, we must remind ourselves that we control our response, and we are not defined by the opinions of others. The Stoics believed that our worth is not diminished by the negative views or words of others. On the contrary, by standing firm in our confidence, we show the true strength of our character. Marcus Aurelius frequently reminds himself in meditations to focus on virtue and to remember that it is our internal state that ultimately defines us. By practicing self-awareness and confidence in our own worth, we can shield ourselves from the harm that insults seek to cause. 2. Recognize the insult as a reflection of the insulter, not of you. A critical Stoic lesson is understanding that the insult is not about you. It is about the person who delivers it. Every action or word of another person is shaped by their own experiences, emotional state, and internal struggles. By recognizing this, we can prevent ourselves from taking insults personally. As Marcus Aurelius writes, "What is not good for the beehive cannot be good for the bee." This is a reminder that people are often acting in line with their own nature, and their actions and words are a reflection of their own internal world. When someone insults you, it is usually not a reflection of your true character, but a manifestation of their own emotions, frustrations, or insecurities. Insults come from within the insulter, shaped by their own struggles, and thus should not be taken as an attack on who you are. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus echoes this sentiment by saying, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." By keeping this in mind, we free ourselves from the need to defend our honor or react with anger. If we are secure in our own self-worth, we can view the insult as a temporary and passing occurrence, rather than as something that defines us. By recognizing that insults come from the insulter's perspective, we can release ourselves from the emotional grip of their words. When we shift our focus away from taking offense, we empower ourselves to maintain our dignity. In practice, this might mean taking a step back and reflecting on why the person may have said what they did. Perhaps they were frustrated, feeling insecure, or simply having a bad day. In this way, we can approach the situation with a sense of empathy, instead of jumping to conclusions or reacting with anger. 3. Respond with rationality, not emotion. One of the most difficult aspects of dealing with an insult is the strong emotional response it can trigger. It is natural to feel anger, frustration, or hurt when we are insulted. However, Stoic philosophy teaches us to rise above our immediate emotional reactions and respond with rationality and reason. Marcus Aurelius provides us with an excellent example of this in his Meditations, where he often reminds himself to maintain composure and not to let emotions overtake him. He writes, "When someone does you wrong, don't ask, 'Why did they do that?' but ask, 'What does this person think is good?'" This shift in perspective helps us view the insult from a more rational standpoint. Instead of being caught up in the heat of the moment, we should ask ourselves what motivated the person to act the way they did. By doing so, we avoid reacting impulsively, and instead, we respond thoughtfully and with purpose. The Stoics believed that emotions were powerful forces, but that we could train ourselves to prevent them from controlling our actions. This doesn't mean suppressing or denying our feelings, but rather choosing not to act on them impulsively. By practicing mindfulness and emotional control, we can ensure that our responses align with our highest principles: virtue, wisdom, and calmness. When you are insulted, try to take a moment to breathe and process the situation before reacting. Reflect on the broader context. Why is the person acting this way? Are they upset, stressed, or projecting their own fears? Understanding this can help you detach from the situation emotionally, allowing you to respond with rationality instead of reacting out of anger. 4. Cultivate empathy and compassion for the insulter. Another essential Stoic practice when responding to insults is to cultivate empathy and compassion for the person who insults you. While it may be difficult, we can remind ourselves that others are often struggling with their own challenges and emotional turmoil, which may be manifesting in their behavior toward us. Marcus Aurelius writes in his Meditations, "People exist for the sake of one another. Teach them or bear with them." This insight reminds us that we are all part of the same human experience, and we should approach others with understanding and patience. Rather than reacting with resentment, the Stoic response is one of compassion. This perspective encourages us to view the insulter not as an enemy, but as someone who is likely acting out of their own pain or frustration. By showing empathy, we open the door to understanding rather than conflict. We also demonstrate emotional resilience, as we refuse to be dragged down to the level of the insult. Instead of responding with bitterness, we can choose to respond with kindness or simply walk away, recognizing that the person's actions do not define our worth. This practice of empathy is not always easy, especially when we feel attacked, but it is one of the most powerful tools in maintaining peace of mind and upholding the Stoic virtues of wisdom and self-control. 5. Reflect on the temporary nature of insults. A final Stoic approach to dealing with insults is to reflect on the transient nature of all external events, including insults. In the grand scheme of life, insults are temporary, emotions will fade, and time will pass. Stoic philosophy teaches us to view insults in the context of the larger picture, remembering that nothing is permanent. In his Meditations, Marcus Aurelius writes, "You are a little soul carrying around a corpse." This phrase reminds us that life is fleeting and that we should not become overly attached to the transient nature of external events. By recognizing that insults are temporary, we free ourselves from the emotional grip they hold over us. Rather than dwelling on the insult, we can focus on how we want to respond and move forward. Conclusion. Embrace Stoic wisdom for lasting peace. In conclusion, the Stoic philosophy of Marcus Aurelius provides profound wisdom on how to respond to insults and maintain our peace of mind. By preserving our inner happiness and confidence, recognizing that insults reflect the insulter, responding with rationality, cultivating empathy, and reflecting on the temporary nature of insults, we can rise above the negative effects of external criticism. The next time you face an insult, remember the teachings of Marcus Aurelius and the Stoic tradition. Choose to respond with wisdom, calmness, and nobility. Through consistent practice, you can develop emotional resilience and the strength to face life's challenges with grace. I challenge you once again, embrace the Stoic journey of self-discipline. Watch your thoughts, cultivate wisdom, and choose your responses wisely. The path of Stoicism is not always easy,